Ladies, gentlemen, and lady gentlemen's, Andy here. I went from depressed and suicidal to living a life of abundance and joy. If I can do it, you sure as hell can too. Let's have a little chill podcast today. I just got off one of my long 3-hour group coaching calls, and we had this big discussion earlier in the coaching, about a week ago, where someone basically said, how do I balance being happy and being grateful for what I have right now with going for goals and pursuing my dreams and working on my self-improvement? Basically, how do I have a healthy balance, between being obsessed with my goals versus being happy with what I have? And this question of balance is something that comes up so much in coaching. It's just such a common human question. How do I have a healthy work-life balance? How do I have a balance between how much I see this partner or this new, sexual partner or whatever, or romantic partner versus, spending time with my friends? And people are often looking for some sort of correct answer, as if there's some perfect, correct amount of balance, some perfect way of living your life that means you're doing it correctly, But it's often this concept of balance, or this obsession with balance, is often just a way for people to feel guilty and beat themselves up when really they're just doing what they want. What I mean by that is, let's say you're working on a goal and you go all in and you're very obsessed with it and you pour a lot of time and energy and effort and love into achieving or improving at this goal. People might guilt trip you for that or try and shame you and say, why are you so obsessed with the gym? That's shallow. Why do you care about your body so much? That's shallow. Why are you building a, social media presence? That's shallow. Why do you care what strangers on the internet think of you? And people often feel guilty themselves and say, maybe I'm not being balanced right now. Maybe I should be spending more time with my friends, or I should have more of a social life and not worry so much about my dating life or my business life. As if, again, there's some perfect or balanced way that you could ideally live your life. You can be balanced if you want to. None of this is me telling you how to live your life, but I have not been balanced with any of the goals that I've really achieved. It's not very balanced to dedicate all of your time and energy into learning how to meet women, learning how to talk to women, learning how to hit on women, and then having a whole bunch of sex and BDSM and threesomes. I wasn't very balanced when I did all of that. I've had periods of building this business or this content creation and coaching thing that I do where this is all I've done. I've had several years where this was the main thing that I did. And I haven't spent as much time with friends. I haven't spent as much time with family because I've been all in with this community and building it because it's what I wanted to do. There's been times when I was very, very, very all in with my relationship with Imogen. We've had periods of like a week or two where literally all we do is talk about the relationship and what we want and how we want to improve. We talk about our own goals and how we want to achieve happiness and build that independence and then build something beautiful together on top of that. Maybe that's not very balanced. Maybe we should have had a more balanced approach where we spend only 2 hours a day talking about that, and then we go hang out with our friends for 1 hour, and then we go to the gym for 1 hour, and then we spend 1 hour working on a business, and then 2 hours doing this, and blah, 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 blah. No, I've never really been balanced. And look at all the things that I've still been able to achieve. In fact, I would say, at least for me and my personality type, the fact that I haven't been balanced is a big part of the reason why I'm deeply happy, because I don't sit there and beat myself up or guilt trip myself or feel ashamed for how I spend my time. There's a really good quote from an entrepreneur couple that I love to pieces. They are Alex Hormozi and Layla Hormozi. They're a married couple, and they earn crazy amounts of money, like $100 million a year or something insane. They're big, successful, beautiful entrepreneurs, and they also are very successful with their bodies, and they do a lot of gym, and they just seem like a very happy married couple. And they often work 16 hours a day, and people have tried to guilt trip them for that and make them feel ashamed. and tell them that they shouldn't be spending that much time on their business and that they need to have a healthier work-life balance and that they need to do this and they need to do that. And they've done videos talking about it where they say, but I don't want to do those things. We want to work on the business for 16 hours a day. We love the business. Why wouldn't we want to work on something that we love for 16 hours a day? You know, it's like that quote, the man who loves his job will never work a day in his life. And what other people are basically saying to them is, you should stop doing something that you want to do in order to do stuff that you don't want to do, just so you can say that you have this magical, mythical thing called balance. Again, as if there is some perfect balance or some correct way of living your life. And if you're not balanced, then you're just somehow magically doing a bad job or you're wrong, even if you're happy. And that's the key point here. People tell you, and you might be telling yourself, that you need to be balanced. And the reason that people will say that is because they're saying balance is what will bring you happiness. But what if balance doesn't bring you happiness? What if you're only working on your goal for a couple of hours a day because you're too afraid to be unbalanced? What if that makes you unhappy? What if you are literally happier when you work out at the gym for 5 hours a day? Or when you work on that business for 16 hours a day? What if you're actually happier if you dedicate 6 months or a year of your life to building your sex life and building your dating life and learning how all of that works? What if that actually makes you happy? Would you stop doing it, or should you supposedly stop doing it just because you're not balanced? And this is what I talk about a lot on my channel and a lot in my coaching. I say get very clear about what it is that you want. It's why you will hear me say in a lot of content, and any of my coaching clients will attest to this, I say it all the time in the coaching program, I often say to people, what do you want? What do you want? And that's exactly the answer that I gave to this coaching client who said, you know, how do I have more of a work-life balance? Or how do I have more of a balance between happiness and doing what I want, or working on my goals versus like being present? And I said, there is no correct answer here, my friend. It's just, what do you want to do? Work on your goals as much as you want to. Work on whichever goals you want to work on. And don't worry about what the correct answer is or what you're supposed to do, because all of that is just meaningless opinion. And if happiness is what you care about, which happiness is the thing that every human being on this planet cares about, why would you put balance as a higher priority than happiness if it makes you happy to be unbalanced and you can genuinely put your hand on your heart and say, I am very happy with being obsessed with this goal, or I am very happy with making this goal my top priority for a while. If you can put your hand on your heart and say that that is true, then why would you not keep doing that? That sounds beautiful. Happiness is in itself something that you can focus on. And so this obsession with balance often misses the point. People say you need to be balanced in order to be happy. No, what if I just make happiness the priority? Happiness is a choice. You know, you can focus on gratitude, you can focus on love, you can focus on compassion to those around you and compassion to yourself. You can focus on being grateful for what you have. You can focus on waking up every day and choosing to be positive. You can focus on improving your life one baby step at a time. All of these things bring us so much happiness. And balance is nowhere there in the equation. Balance is a separate thing. If you want to have a balanced life, brilliant, do that. And then also work on being happy, or allow yourself to be happy. Choose to be happy. If you want to have an unbalanced life, brilliant. Have an unbalanced life and then also be happy. Again, happiness is a choice. I wouldn't worry so much about balance, or I choose in my life not to worry about balance. And I've found that it's just a meaningless term. Balance. What does that even mean? Does it mean I have to spend the exact amount of time doing every single activity in the exact order of priorities that some other person tells me? How is that living a life that's true to myself? I've said this before, but the number one regrets that humans have, There are 5 main regrets that human beings have at the end of their life. And the number one is, I wish I had lived a life that was more true to myself instead of the life that others told me to do or told me to live. And so the concept of balance is some other person or your guilty conscience for whatever reason, because other people have programmed you. It's other people telling you how you're supposed to live your life. Yeah, and then you get to the end of your life and say, wow, holy fuck, I wish I'd lived a life that was more true to myself instead of worrying about balance when I didn't even care about balance. I just thought it was something I was supposed to do because some random people told me. At the end of the day, this is your life. And if you focus on doing what you want to do, then you aren't so worried about balance. You wake up each day with a smile on your face and you're doing the things that you want to do. And then there isn't balance. There doesn't need to be a balance. In fact, you're doing 100% of what you want. Why would you need to be balanced? Balance basically implies that you're doing a bunch of stuff that you don't want to do. And so you need to balance that out with stuff that recharges your batteries. That's what most people are talking about when they use the word balance. They're saying, you're doing a whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't want to do. And so to balance that out, make sure you take a break. But it's like, if I'm doing what I want to be doing, if I'm choosing how I live my life and taking a very active and proactive role in what I choose to spend my time on, why would I need to recharge my batteries? In fact, I will get energized by working on my business. I will get energized by prioritizing my sex and dating life, or whatever it is that you care about. Those things will energize me and they will add to my life. Why on earth would I need a break from those things? Or why would I need to recharge my batteries after those things? Those things are what recharges my batteries. You know, it's like the Alex and Layla Hormozi couple that I just mentioned earlier. They love working on their business. Why would they ever need to take a break? If they want to take a break, they can, obviously, but the point is they don't want to, because working on their business is beautiful. You know, it's the same thing with me and my coaching and my business and this content, this community. You'll notice that I've never really taken a break. I've had a couple of days here and there where I don't upload content, of course, but for the last 4 years, I have done minimum 1 new piece of content every week. Really, even that's not true. The minimum that I have done across all of my platforms is about 3 pieces of content a week, and I haven't really taken a break from that. I've had a pretty consistent upload schedule across this YouTube channel, my podcast, my blog, my email newsletter list. I have uploaded roughly 3 pieces of content every week on average, and many times it's way, way, way more than that. Right now it's more than that. But I don't need a break. And my parents will sometimes say that to me. They'll be like, hey, honey, have you thought about taking a holiday or taking a vacation? Aren't you working too much? And I'm like, I'm not working at all. I get to wake up every day and do what I love. I get to choose the life that I live, and everybody can do that. It might require some changing. You might need to quit your job. You might need to start a business. You might need to leave a relationship that you're not happy in. But everybody can live a life that they're very happy with, and where they choose to do everything that they're doing in their life, especially all of you listening. If you're listening to this content, you are absolutely capable of living a well above average life where you choose everything that you do in it. And then at that point, if you're choosing how you spend your time, and you're choosing who you spend your time with, and you're choosing what you do during that time, why do you need balance? Again, you can be balanced if you want to, or don't be balanced. But either way, the thing that you care about is probably happiness. And so work on happiness, or allow yourself to be happy, regardless of if you have balance or not. Again, I think balance is often something that we use to guilt trip ourselves, or to feel ashamed, or to feel bad about how we're spending our time. But as long as you're very honest with who you are and who you want to be and how you want to spend your time, you don't worry so much about am I spending my time correctly? As long as you can go into the bathroom or wherever you have a mirror, and you can look into your own eyes in the mirror, and you can say, I like all the choices that I made today, or I like the way that I'm spending my time. As long as that's true for you, then balance is almost like this superfluous extra thing that really doesn't have anything to do with anything. So in summary, If you want to be balanced, go for it. It's not up to me to tell you how to live your life. That's kind of the whole point of this podcast, and that's definitely the point of my entire channel. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. Do whatever it is that you would like to do. Let's finish up by reading out a final post that one of the guys in the coaching group made a little while ago. This guy finished up his coaching recently, and I just haven't gotten around to reading out his final post. And he's given me permission to share all of this. And I thought it was a really cool, transformation story. Obviously, not everybody's happy to come on here and tell their story and share their transformation with all of us. And fair enough, some people don't feel up to it or they want to be anonymous. But this guy, like a lot of guys, is completely comfortable with me reading out his story and sharing his transformation. And this guy, when he first came to me, man, he said his face would go completely red and he would blush every single time that he was in any social situation. And he was utterly terrified of social situations. And he was literally had a red face when he was talking to me on the very first coaching call that we ever did. And I basically said to him, look, we can get you comfortable out there, but really it's just exposure therapy. Go out there, talk to a lot of people. I promise eventually you won't give a shit that your face goes red. And yeah, this guy had an incredible transformation story, so let's go over it. So this is his final post that he made in the coaching group when he was about to finish up. Yo guys, my 12 weeks in the coaching program is coming to an end. When I came into coaching, I just finished my coding boot camp, my sole focus for the preceding 3 months. I was jobless, still new to London, and I barely knew anybody besides 2 friends from Hong Kong and my flatmates, all my bootmate cohort mates. Why is that so hard to say? All my boot camp cohort mates were in the US. I had been struggling with social anxiety for 10 years at this point. Yeah, he had been struggling for a long time. That's a very common thing in the coaching program where people struggle with something for a decade. And then we're able to get in there, and it's usually just changing people's beliefs and getting them to think about things differently. We give them mindset tricks and all of that. And then, yeah, before you know it, they're letting go of something that's been bothering them for the better part of 10 or so years. So he'd been struggling with social anxiety for 10 years at this point, blushing at the drop of a hat, beating myself up over it, feeling anxious all the time, avoiding people, turning down opportunities. It was something that I grappled with on a daily basis. 12 weeks later, I can genuinely say my social anxiety is at the lowest level it has ever been. What a fucking transformation story. Struggled with this for 10 years and was able to overcome it. Last week, I went to a Toastmasters event for those with social anxiety, and I gave an improvised speech to a room of 30 people. So imagine that, from the guy who had been blushing at the drop of a hat and struggling with this for 10 years and beating himself up over it and avoiding people and turned down opportunities because of his social anxiety, giving an improvised speech in front of 30 people. What an absolute fucking legend. And I just want to highlight how fucking awesome this guy is and how much courage he had. He was so unbelievably courageous during the coaching program. He really, really, really was. I stayed after to talk to people for 45 minutes, and I had multiple people tell me they thought I didn't have any social anxiety. In these 12 weeks, as in the 12 weeks in the coaching program, I've approached and made friends with all sorts of strangers on the street or at events. I've pushed myself to show up to events sober. I used to drink beforehand as a crutch. Yep, a lot of people do. And I've had amazing, unexpected things happen as a result of the approaches. People inviting me to hang out, introducing me to their friends, referring me to Meta, as in, the Facebook company, asking me to model for their clothing and merchandise. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he had someone that asked him, can you be a model for us? Which is so unbelievably crazy for the person that's severe social anxiety for more than 10 years. And when he first came to the program, I remember he said to me, he's like, I don't think I can ever overcome this. And I was like, yeah, you can. You'll be fine. So yeah, I love when people come to us with an impossible or a problem that they believe is impossible. And it often doesn't take much prompting or much coaching to get them to just look at it through a new lens, and we give them big epiphanies and they're able to just have these insane changes. So I really love, in case you can't tell, working with people like this who do insane transformations. Aside from continuing to approach more and more, I think my next step with social anxiety is to not even identify with it anymore. That's a big part of it, yeah. To stop calling yourself the person who's socially anxious and just call yourself me. Aim to improve yourself instead of saying, I have this problem, I have this affliction, I'm awkward, I'm an incel, I'm a virgin, I'm fucking autistic, I have ADHD. It's like, stop identifying with it. Just be you and aim to be a little bit better every day. And just accept that some situations make people nervous, and that's normal. Yep. It's okay if I'm anxious sometimes or my face goes red. I can still do the thing that I want to do anyway. That right there was a big, big, big turning point for him. He had told this story all his life, that anytime he was anxious or blushing or red in the face or nervous, that meant he couldn't do the thing. He couldn't go and talk to the cute girl. He couldn't ask for a promotion. He couldn't apply for the job. He couldn't make friends at the party. And I basically said to him, feel the fucking anxiety and then do it anyway, brother. Like, what the hell makes you think that the rest of us aren't nervous and anxious and autistic and weird and like fucked up and any of these words that you want to use? The difference is that we feel the fear and do it anyway. You're feeling the fear and telling yourself that you can't do it. But if you take away that sentence of like, I can't do it, and you instead just fucking try, you end up doing amazing things like this guy did. So this guy had so much fucking courage. He goes on to say, I also landed my first software engineering job. Yeah, we helped him with that quite a bit. That was one of my big goals, and I'm proud of this win. I'm waiting to hear back from a second company tomorrow if they give me an offer, and I have 2 more roles that I'm in the pipeline for. I don't plan to take them. I just want to challenge myself to see how many offers I can get. Yeah, buddy, getting that beautiful abundance mentality. Get a bunch of job offers and then take the best one. I love it. Mindset-wise, it's been transformative or transformational. I feel way more in the driver's seat of my life than I ever did. Absolutely. And I see the world with a lot more possibility, not just thanks to my own experiences, but those of everyone in the group. Thank you. Yeah, that's a big part of the coaching, is that you're getting to see all these other people achieving massive goals and running towards their fears. We have a guy in the coaching program who's literally just finished up today, and he came to us as a virgin in his late 20s. And he's now had sex a few times, and he's met some women, and he's had some beautiful experience, had his first kiss, obviously had sex for the first time, learned to be a more self-loving human being, I would say, for him. And when you see people like that doing courageous, insane things, or we've got a father in the group right now who's just like doing absolutely beautiful things with honesty with his children and opening up and all that. When you see people take these massive leaps of courage, and they're in the same group as you, and then those people are telling you that you can do it too, Jesus Christ, that's like transformative. That's probably the biggest thing that you get from the coaching, is like being in a group of other people that are all winners as well. And then you obviously get to stay in the coaching program for the rest of your life. We have a little members only community that's all of the coaching clients. And so everyone pushes each other. And I check back in there with people, and catch up with them and be like, what have you been up to in the years since like you finished the coaching? And it's like, God, like people have just done insane things, like started massive businesses, like we've had a couple of people get married. So yeah, it's just been absolutely beautiful to get to see people push each other to greatness. He goes on to say, one clear sign to me is that even with the recent challenges going on in my life with my crazy flatmate. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. I won't give any details, but yeah, it would have been cool if he came on the pod on this channel to talk about this, because yeah, this was a fucking wild story. Anyway, he got through that. Like we were able to help him with that. I'm glad he had everyone in the coaching group during that time, because he was really fucking like, yeah, there was some crazy shit going on, and it was nice for him to be able to talk to people. I feel happy and deeply grateful. The support I got from friends, family, and this group of guys that have my back, it was hard to stay negative for long. Yeah, he became a lot more of a positive human being too. I know I still have a lot of work to do, especially around dating. I set big goals there, but basically did not touch them throughout the program, which is ironic because I found Andy through the Tinder guide. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I set social and career as my top priorities, and I made significant progress there, not to mention mindset. So a lot of people do this, where they come to the coaching and they're like, I have 17 fucking goals all at once. And I'm like, cool, let's pick like 2 or 3 and go all in with them and crush it, and then you can move on to the next goals. And they will absolutely destroy the goals that they work on. But then they'll do this thing right at the end of the coaching where they'll be like, yeah, but I should have done all of my goals. And I'm like, young Padawan, all in good time. Like, calm down, 1 or 2 goals at a time. I promise you'll achieve the other goals that you have. So I think that's just a really common thing with anyone in this community or any self-improvement community is like we tend to be pretty hard on ourselves and we want to achieve like 15 goals all at once, but it's much more, or you'll make much more progress if you pick one or two, dedicate yourself to those one or two goals, make a ton of improvements, build things up to where they can almost go on autopilot. Like you get your career on autopilot or you get your dating life on autopilot. So it doesn't require much input anymore, and then move on to the next goal. So yeah, that's a very normal feeling. We have like to deal with this. Obviously, the fact that people can stay in the coaching or they get to stay in the coaching program forever, like in the members only community, that helps because then they get everyone that they've been through the coaching program with and then all the previous clients that I've ever worked with, like to be their cheerleaders. So they'll achieve all their goals anyway. But we've also put a bunch of like members only like videos and shit in there, like videos specifically for what to do when your time in the coaching program is over, like how to not beat yourself up if you're not making an insane amount of progress every single millisecond of your life, how to be okay with the fact that progress can, be fast sometimes and slow other times. So yeah, I promise if any of you out there are feeling like this, like that's very normal. Like you achieve big goals and then you're like, yeah, but I didn't achieve all my goals. And it's like, yeah, but you have the rest of your life to do that. Like chill out a little bit, enjoy the victories. And this guy is like, obviously, he literally says, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. So yeah, I've learned a fuck ton from watching everyone else take massive action towards their goals. That's all part of my next step. Way more room to still improve on social, career, dating, physique, etc. All areas of life, but for now I can zoom out and say the me of 1 year ago would be proud of where I am now. That's beautiful. That's kind of what we want from all the coaching clients is like you look back and you're like, holy fuck, like I can't believe who I am now. This is beautiful. Thank you, Andy, and thank you everyone in the group. I can't wait to see what's in store for everybody. As always, go out there and crush those goals. Yeah, beautiful, amazing. So yeah, obviously, if you would like to join the coaching program, I'll leave links in the description below to that. I love when people share their wins like this. It's a lot of this I don't necessarily share like on this channel or on my podcast. Like I try and share all of my coaching client victories, but there's just often like, it's almost like I'm so busy with the coaching program that sometimes I don't know, I forget to share shit. Like, you know what I mean? I don't come on this channel or on my podcast every 5 minutes and be like, holy shit, this guy lost his virginity. This guy did this guy started a business. I don't know. If you guys are interested in more of that stuff, you can tell me. Like, if you want me to share more victories and cool stuff that people in the community have done. If any of you listening have done anything cool, you're welcome to leave a comment or email me. Like, I love hearing from people with their victories. People email me sometimes, like quite a lot actually, probably every couple of times a week. And they'll be like, hey, Andy, holy shit, I talked to my first ever girl, or I started my business, or hey, I tried this, or I did that, or I lost a bunch of weight. So I'm always happy to hear that. I always try and share it whenever I remember, but I appreciate all of you. Like I said, links in the description to the coaching program. With the balance stuff, it's just been really helpful for me to not stress so much about balance and instead just focus on happiness, which is the thing that you're wanting balance to get you. Right? People say, I want to be more balanced so I can be more happy. It's like, why don't you just be more happy? Like, just focus on happiness. So make happiness a priority, make it a goal. Be happy. Go out there, live beautiful lives, crush those beautiful goals, and have a bloody good time doing it.